Just east of Phoenix, Arizona are the Superstition Mountains. They can be some of the most rugged and dangerous spots to climb or hike, claiming many unsuspecting victims, many times victims of gold fever, or those not familiar with just how hot the desert summers in central Arizona can get. A lot of folklore and mythology are tied to the area, especially if you're a treasure hunter. Many have heard of the Lost Dutchman's mine. Others have discussed how Geronimo used to evade the United States cavalry by going into a deep underground cavern system that led from these mountains all the way to southern New Mexico. Not many outside of Arizona are familiar with the Hohokam Indians that lived in this area, dating back 2,000 years ago and suddenly disappearing around 1450 Common Era. Many anthropologists now believe their culture went back even before the Common Era, or at least those leading up to becoming Hohokam. The area that the Hohokam covered were immense, but today I'd like to discuss what the Hohokam left at a site known to many as Hieroglyphic Trail. And no, there are not hieroglyphs found in the area. This was given to the location long ago before the terminology of petroglyphs and pictographs were being used as a standard in anthropology. There are many petroglyph sites left behind by the Hohokam. Some I've discussed in the past, but this site's also worth mentioning for several reasons. For one, some of the petroglyphs hint towards sympathetic magic and other supernatural beliefs being in play with this culture, at least at this site. One thing worth mentioning here that I always pause at is the immense boulder field north of the petroglyphs. It makes me think about David Paulides and how he has discussed people gone missing and other strange events happening at the locations. This is the view from the site. Because there are many shelters available and water, the site was a regular location for the Native Americans over a great period of time. The petroglyphs were not all created at once. You can tell they were collected at the site over hundreds of years. Water is captured at the site year-round. This meant survival for those in the past that frequented the area. Petroglyphs are all over the place, extending up and down the stream area and up and down in elevation. There are all three types of petroglyphs available at the site. Those include abstract, anthropomorphic, and zoomorphic glyphs. My reason for even bringing up this site is because of the glyphs that I've investigated. Several point toward an event taking place long ago in the sky above. Plasma events look to have been carved or pecked into the rock, leaving an account of what was going on in the past. Some of the more interesting carvings happen to be among the oldest. Here my interest lies with the middle glyph and anthropomorphic figure to the right. I've seen the middle carving or something like it twice before. One is just outside of Laughlin, Nevada. It's seen with several other glyphs pointing towards something seen in the sky or falling out of the sky. The anthropomorphic figure to the right almost looks like a cross between a lizard and human. Did the artist have quite the imagination, or did the artist see something during a sky event that left him perplexed, needing to pass what was seen on to future generations? Whatever the answer is, obviously only the artist will ever know, but I still find it worth mentioning here. So there are hundreds of petroglyphs that have been carved at the site. Most appear to be capturing everyday life, common at most sites and memorialized by many groups in the past. It's those few anomalies that have always captured my attention and caused me to record their location and glyph type. The Hohokam had many of these out-of-place petroglyphs and pictographs in the Phoenix, Arizona area. Anthropologists have in fact stated that one of them definitely captured a meteor or comet in the sky and have a date to go along with it. So that leads me to believe there's a good chance that the other anomalous glyphs were of something seen in the sky and worth carving into rock as a reminder to the historical event taking place. This abstract design is found everywhere. Many think it's a portal. I don't believe this is true. Instead, when I come across this abstract design, I look around it to see what else is being captured in the historical record. Sometimes I feel that this was made for religious ceremony or even as an expression of artistic ability. It's those few times where events around the glyph being captured appear to be detailing a sky watch of sorts, because of an unknown and not understood event taking place. I've located 5 sites around Phoenix where the Hohokam or other groups in the past were documenting something of this nature. Hieroglyphic Trail is one of those 5 sites. The event appears to have taken place in the middle period of when these people were living in the desert, probably around 1000 Common Era. Some anthropologists will state that these are male dancers conducting a ceremony. I say it's capturing a plasma event and it's being watched. Yes, I'm the first to tell you this is a subjective viewpoint on my part. But if you ever get the chance to get out to this site and see the details on the west wall, you might understand what I'm trying to detail here. Many have stated that the Rainbow Man means the symbol represented a keeper of the land. Past anthropologists came to this conclusion by asking current Native Americans its meaning. I can tell you now that those Native Americans living today know as much about these petroglyphs as the European anthropologists did. The meanings were lost over hundreds of years. Those Native Americans made up meanings because they were being compensated by the anthropologists for giving answers that those social scientists wanted to hear. Again, the meaning can only be truly known by the artist. Otherwise, it's a subjective answer. I recommend one look at the entire rock art. That might assist in at least understanding. Here I do believe 2 separate heavenly events took place in the sky above and were captured at the site. Eventually the Hohokam culture disappeared. Did a cataclysmic event occur? Did they leave because the desert conditions became harsher, water less in quantity? I do know that many moved southward along with the cultures from Utah. They would later become the Mesoamericans we know as the Aztec. A very few stayed and became the tribes that continue to live in this area of Arizona. In my presentations, I'm showing some things that do not make sense. They stand out as odd, not fitting in with the other historical records. If you have the opportunity to visit the Superstition Mountains of Arizona, you won't be disappointed. The scenery is incredible. This treasure hunting and ancient history, exciting and worth researching. Please take a moment to subscribe to my YouTube channel, as I will be bringing more presentations and videos to you soon. Thank you.